Welcome to Uncorked and Unscripted, the podcast and video series that gives you VIP access to the unscripted stories of people I've met through events. In this episode of Uncorked and Unscripted, entrepreneur, philanthropist, and ag industry leader Ty Eschenbaum joins us to discuss his journey with childhood cancer, unexpected loss of loved ones, and how he's used his story to donate hundreds of thousands of dollars back to his community. Now uncork your favorite beverage and listen up as we spend the next half hour unscripted. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Uncorked and Unscripted. I am your host, Addie Graham Kramer. Today, we're excited to have Ty Eschenbaum here with us. We've had the opportunity to work alongside Ty for several years, and we're going to dive in a little bit more. But welcome to the show, Ty.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to get into it.
Yeah, we were talking offline prior to starting to record here about Ty's voluptuous locks of hair. Ty, can you tell? I was just saying that I think, so Ty's transformed this look, I think, over these last few months, but I think it's such a distinguished look. Can you tell me how many times people are talking about your hair? And do you have its own Instagram quite yet?
It's apparently become a big talking point, a point of contention. So I just stopped cutting it. I mean, I get it cleaned up and whatever, but like last April, I just, for no reason whatsoever and no end goal. And I've gone this far, so I just keep letting it go. So
why is it a point of contention? Like, are people on both sides of the fence?
Oh, yeah.
Love it or hate it?
I think there's more people on the anti long hair.
No way.
Yeah, I think so. Which makes it like right away when I was getting shade for it, just made me make me want to grow it more. Like, well, I'm just gonna. You can't tell me what to do.
I think it's a very distinguished look. I feel like it's very, not that you're on Wall Street as a broker, but it's very Wall Street-esque. But I think you could be setting a trend here for our boys and men in South Dakota. Truly.
Yeah. We'll
Ariana,
see.
Our producer, we were just talking prior to jumping on and saying how much we actually enjoy it. So I think it's, if you don't want, we can start its own handle and hashtag on Instagram for Ty's hair. I don't know.
It's
you
actually
could do something really good with it too. I mean, you could donate it. You can keep growing it.
Yeah, we'll see. I've got no plans, but it's nice that it's finally getting long enough that it looks like, there's a kind of that transition period where it's like, oh, Ty just needs a haircut. Yeah. And then it was nice to get through that. So I hope it looks like I'm actually trying to do this and not that I just haven't been to the barber.
And it's not mullet on the back, right? Can we see the back? There's no mullet.
It's getting there.
Oh, Ty.
Oh yeah. It's it's like put a hat on and
I was just gonna say when you're in your SCSU hat, it's probably like
it comes out everywhere.
Well,
so trying to do like the Bradley Cooper look,
yeah.
But the more I look at pictures of Bradley Cooper, it's like, well, he's just stunningly good looking, so he can kind of do whatever he wants, right? So
I think you just keep doing it, but regardless, okay, we're going to get into the podcast today. We're going to talk about all the great things that you're a part of. I want to have our guest learn a little bit more about your journey and your story, but before we dive in, we always start the show with asking our guest, if you could be a drink, what would describe Ty Eschenbaum, and what would that drink be?
Oh, man.
Yeah. That's the uncorked part of the unscripted.
Yeah. I love the uncorked questions, but there's a lot of ways you could go with that.
I know.
I'm probably just going to go with my standby drink of choice since forever. Just a Captain Coke.
Yeah.
I think everybody that knows me knows that I'll drink an old fashioned from time to time, a glass of wine, whatever, but Steady Eddie, the same in every situation as a Captain Coke. So that's what I would be. And
smooth, easy.
I hope
no fuss.
And I hope hope that describes me in some ways, that no matter where I'm at or what I'm up to, I'm the same person everywhere I go. So
no lime or anything in it? Like nothing?
I do lime.
Jazz it up? Oh, you do?
Yep,
okay.
I do a lime.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. Well, let's tell our guest a little bit let's talk about how we met. I know you and I are part of a lot of different organizations, from the South Dakota Cattlemen's to Foundation to a lot of other work like with Maddie Nelson Foundation. But I want our guests to know a little bit about your story and how we got to be where we are here today.
2003. Yeah. So to summarize, up until 2003, I feel like I had a very typical rural South Dakota boy story, right? Grew up on the farm, three brothers, playing sports, like Preston, class of 20, town of 500. And yeah, a routine doctor checkup led to leukemia diagnosis out of nowhere. And I ran my best track times at region track meet like 2.5 weeks before. Like, did not see this coming.
And you were QB,
And
right? I think, right? Quarterback, right?
yeah,
QB? Yeah.
Sports were my life. So
Yeah.
this was right after my freshman year. I was coming back. I would have been varsity quarterback, point guard. We had some good relay teams. Like, that's who I identified as an athlete, and that was my whole identity. And I never got to step foot on a basketball court or a football field again. And it really just transformed who I was, because I had to go figure out if, Ty's not an athlete, then
a new
is he?
identity, right?
Yeah, what's he supposed to do? So
what was that like mentally?
I do a lot of speaking events, have for 20 years, a lot of kids groups, high schools and whatever. And, I like to talk about just the power of your mind, your attitude, how you approach things makes all the difference in the world. And, I look back at some of the things I went through, and like, thank God I didn't know. You know what I mean? Like, some of it was just ignorant bliss, right? If I get the same diagnosis today and the same probability, I'd be, not, I would be a wreck, but like, I had youthful energy that I could take on the world, right? Nothing could hurt me. And I think that helped me a lot.
Did you go through though, like and I'm only equating this to my son, who just had just a minor, and well, I shouldn't say minor, just an injury, right, from football, and had been out for the last year. There was a lot of mental struggles in there, I think. And that's why I asked kind of the mental question. I think he's stayed uplifting and positive and talking now to other people and other friends that have gone through those same pieces. But was there any of this like grief piece of it though, too, of like, gosh, like, why?
Yeah.
And the mental, like the struggle piece of it as well?
Absolutely. I mean, especially when you're young, right? Especially when you're in high school and whatever. I mean, it took away everything, who I was, the Ty that I knew didn't exist anymore, right? Because I was like going to prom, going to homecoming, like had a super cute girlfriend, like school came easy. Like I thought I was so cool. Yeah. Right. It was, and then it was like overnight, right? I went from lifting weights and 155 pounds, and 4 months later, I weighed 106 pounds. I couldn't walk anymore. I was so weak, pale, no hair, right? And then, I wasn't an athlete anymore. I wasn't, to get a date to the prom or anything. It was like my life was gone, right? It was different. So yeah, there's a lot of mental, 100%. And I really think that's who formed, who I am today, because I had unbelievable family, friends, community, classmates. Like I don't discount any of that. I was so blessed with how much support me and my family got, but like, there's still days, there's still, nights where you're just in a hospital bed by yourself, right? For wide awake for 6 hours. Right. And that's where the rubber meets the road, and the mental. Yeah.
And similar children, I think, from what I recall from your story, that were battling similar cancers or you were in like that same unit together. Not everyone, I think, has a story like yours, correct?
Yeah. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
That helped to transform, I think, where you're at today as well.
It is. That's the entire thought process for having a foundation and doing something to help others was formed when I was in the hospital. 100%. I got to see so many kids. Some of them had, did not have nearly as complicated a diagnosis as I did. And my folks and I went to a lot of funerals for kids and families that we got to be really close to. And, part of the mental thing, not only figuring out who I was, but, there's a lot of survivor's guilt, right? Like, why do I get to still be here? And so, I just knew then that I'm going to do something, to try to give back and, for these kids, right? Because I still get to be here and they don't. And so earn the gift, that's the name, or in the gift gala. That's what we got coming up in December. When I speak, the name of my speech is usually earn the gift. And it's just my mindset of like, hey, we all get the opportunity to be here every
Right.
day, and life is short, and everybody has their own God-given talents, and we should all try to use them for good.
So you're using your talents for good and speaking out and helping to influence others really helped to formulate the Ty Eschenbaum Foundation. Is that right?
It did. Yeah. I mean, it was like, man, what, I feel like I'm supposed to do something with this, but what is that? And I still don't know. I just, we're trying, right? Like I never feel like I've gotten there, right? It's just like, hey, we're supposed to keep going, we're supposed to keep figuring it out. So,
Well, you've got three awesome pillars, though, surrounding the organization. I mean, you've got cancer piece, obviously, that you're so passionate about that you've walked that walk. And I want to hear you talk a little bit about Autumn and her wish with Make-A-Wish and how your adoption of those wishes and hers are going to continue in perpetuity, really. And then you've got your missionary work to honor your brother. So, do you want to share maybe a little bit more about those other two pillars? Because that missionary work is it's growing pretty rapidly as well. And you're getting quite a bit of attention surrounding that too. But
yeah,
let's
100%.
talk about Make-A-Wish, because that's been incredible donations to them. $215,000, right? Over the last couple of years
Yep.
has gone to Make-A-Wish. But I want to hear you talk about really why those other two pillars. Cancer is obviously the one that's impacted you, and these other two have as well. But share with our guest a little bit more about the other two pillars.
Yeah. So to summarize the journey, it's like I never feel like we've arrived. Like I feel like we're supposed to keep moving, keep trying, keep figuring things out. Like it's been great. We've been so blessed with the things we're doing, but we're not there. We're still trying to find
On the
wherever
path.
they're supposed to be. So part of that is, yeah, we started with the youth cancer survivors, formed the foundation in 2011. Actually walked into Bob Sutton's office when he was the executive director for the South Dakota Community Foundation. I actually moved here recently and found the original document that Bob and I signed, the
Oh, really?
contract that
That's
found the
awesome.
endowment from September of 2011. And I put $500, the first $500 in the foundation. I actually took a picture and texted to him. And I was like,
That's
hey,
cool.
this is pretty cool. Started with youth cancer survivors, giving scholarships. I think we're the only entity that I'm aware of in the state of South Dakota that gives scholarships specifically to youth cancer survivors. And giving scholarships and then doing speaking events. I started to get asked to speak at high schools and colleges and all kinds
You
of.
spoke at our JY6 event. I mean, you've spoke at a
Yeah.
lot of organizations.
A ton of Make-A-Wish, ton of American Cancer Society, nonprofits, schools, conferences, whatever. So doing that, and then lost the better part of me, Autumn, in 2019, and in Autumn's honor, we fund Make-A-Wish. So I was a Make-A-Wish kid. I was a grant wisher, or a wish grantor for a little bit, and I've always stayed in touch with them. And I feel like everything that's happened with the foundation has happened naturally, and that was something that like just makes so much sense. Autumn was so good with kids. She was so connected to her nieces and nephews. All she wanted to be in this life was a mother. Like we got to help kids to Make-A-Wish. So yeah, between a life insurance policy backed up on me personally and the endowment within the foundation, Autumn will have wish kids forever. So yeah, the last 2 years we've been able to surprise Make-A-Wish with 6-figure gifts, which funds a dozen full wishes a year, and just got to meet some incredible families and kids.
I don't think I've shared with you or not, but I think I talked to Allie just a little bit about it, but one of those wish kids coming up here soon, her wish has not been fully granted yet. I think it's going through the process of it, but is Bella Knopf. And for her, so she has so many seizures, and these different seizures are these clusters that erase complete memory. And she is not aware of anything that happened, but they last at different parts of the day. They're not spurred on in the morning or in evenings or different times of the day. But for her, this young lady is now going to be one of the recipients of Make-A-Wish. And just seeing her reaction to it, and I know she'll be at the gala this year, but her reaction itself, it is just, and that's my first interaction truly with a Wish kid. It is just unlike anything I have ever seen or been a part of. And it is so emotional, even just to talk about it. I was chatting with her mom last night about it, and her mom's been sending me pictures of her dress for the gala. And this little girl just feels like she is a star. And that impact, even just talking about, now I get goosebumps, is unlike so many organizations. And I know there's incredible nonprofits in this world that are making such a big difference, but that is one that is just unlike anything else.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, and I know that because my family went through it, and then we get to see and meet so many of these kids, and yeah, everything you said, like some of these, all these kids have gone through just unbelievable challenges and
Yeah,
hardships and debilitating that some people don't go through an entire lifetime, right?
right.
And they did, and they're 6 and they're 8 and they're 12, and you meet them and they're so smart and they're wise beyond their years and they're well spoken, and it's just, I always say we the foundation, our group, our donors, whatever, we get so much more from them than
Hmm.
the money that they get from
Hmm.
us. Like
Yeah,
it is just getting to meet them, getting to hear their stories, getting to see how they live their life.
yeah.
It's life changing.
Yeah, I
Honestly,
mean,
I think
they're
so.
almost like forced to grow up in that,
Yep.
whatever they're dealing with and enduring could be a lifetime. Like with Bella, hers right now, there's no cure for it at all. And for her, it could be a lifetime. But there's others that it may not be, but their diagnosis may change over the years, and I think just the impact is, yeah, just incredible. So kudos to
Yeah,
you. So,
I get it, and I say when with our scholarship recipients, the half of that award that we give them is an honor, a recognition for the battles that they fought, and that we recognize what they went through.
mhm.
The other half, the other side of the coin is they're so tenacious. They've been through so much, and they're going to go on and do great things that'll help everybody because, yeah, they've had to go through things and grow through things that most people don't have to.
So that's our second pillar. I want to hear the third pillar.
Third pillar, unexpectedly lost my brother Calder. Calder was about 6 years younger than me, and we were really close.
That's in
He
21. Was
he
that
had
21?
21, yeah,
2021,
October
yeah.
21, yeah. Um, so that, not that long ago. Calder had glorious red hair also, so he would probably grow it out with me if I
I
asked him
love
to.
it.
So Calder's one of a kind, just an unbelievable soul. And so in Calder's honor, it was just, again, so natural. We fund missionary work, spread God's word, wherever that may be. And we're finding that's in South Dakota, and we're finding that's across the globe. And so we've learned so much about the organizations based in South Dakota, and great human beings, great South Dakotans that are packing up and going to Africa and South America and wherever. And so I think we've really found a niche of funding the people that are going there and doing it directly. So as you know, I mean,
Yeah,
Craig
yeah, yeah.
Craig Severson, helping kids around first, Bo Bendigo from Mountain Rapids City.
And you talk about the people that are like from the cancer journey, they're doing the unthinkable. Our missionaries and our friends that are going to other countries are also doing the unthinkable. They're stepping foot on grounds that people will never or won't, right, go into those properties or territories at all. And they're doing also the unthinkable for us. It's just, it's different, right? And
Yeah,
I
it
think
is. It's so
it's,
inspiring.
it
It's,
is.
I mean, they're completely halting their own life and their own ambitions, here and whatever, and just going to some of the most, impoverished,
Mm-hmm.
dangerous, crime-ridden places to take good news and supplies and food, and it's moving.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, truly doing God's work. I mean, we are all called to do something. And I think from my standpoint and seeing you, I talked a lot about you last night, actually, with Bella's family. I said, he does also the unthinkable. And I get choked up about it, but you're very selfless with what you do. And I know that you know that, but you're so humble about those things, which makes, I think, people love you even more, Ty. But for us, I mean, did you, like, or those that are listening, did you ever think you would be where you are at today with the foundation? I know you said you're always on this path, right? It's not stop. You're not stopping, right? There's no like stopping point in, oh, we've made it or we've arrived. But did you think that you would be where you are today with the organization? You're still pretty young with
Um,
it, you know?
yeah, I've always had a grand vision for it. You know, I've always thought like, hey, what could be if we do the right things, but um, it's it's God's handiwork, right? I mean, I think when we have board meetings and we talk about it, it's like, hey, if we don't get a big ego and don't think that this is all because we're all so awesome and that we're so smart and whatever, and like we keep to the core of like the kids and the families, and this is the reason we're doing it, and we make sure that we stay centered to what we're supposed to be doing. um, Good things happen, and it's the way that we meet a Craig and a Bo and this organization, and the way things fall together, like that's not us.
No,
Like
I agree.
it's just
Yeah,
yeah.
I
I
agree.
think yeah.
I had that same conversation actually last night. I said that again, I'll keep talking about Bella a little bit, but her brother also had cancer. And I think that family has endured a lot over these years. They have a son who's in the military. They have one son who has had a cancer diagnosis and something spurred again this year. You have Bella with all of these seizures that are no cure for at all and total life changing, right? And one of the things that the mom said is to me is like, I had wondered like, why us? And she's like, I read the Bible religiously, and just knowing that it's not our work, it's his work, and what is happening in our life is just a small bump in the road compared to what we have in the future. But they're also teaching us and life lessons about what's to come. And we just had, yeah, just a beautiful conversation about it. It's not our work, it's his work, and we are there to help fulfill those pieces, you know?
Yeah, 100%. I've had I've had a lot of heart to hearts with people in the nonprofit world, or families or parents that have gone through stuff, and yeah, there's definitely the why me, but what a what an honor, right? What a responsibility to be given challenges
Yeah.
that um and there's so many people that I think of. I had this conversation the other day with somebody, like, you don't have to have a foundation or publicly speak or whatever. It's just people see whoever you are, like people just they watch you and they notice you in your everyday life, right? So I think of some of our Make-A-Wish families and whatever, and it's like, hey, like you have no idea. um we got to be a fun Miles Hup's
Yeah.
wish
Yeah.
at the SCSU USC game the other day, and that family, like, what an awful story, right? But it's like, I feel like God puts these people in places where they have so many people watching them and so many people that they inspire, because they're like a lighthouse, right? They're showing people that it's possible, right? Like, so I don't know. I think of that quite a bit.
Now, you're on the go 24/7 though, from what I have observed and been around. This is not your full-time gig. You have other things and other happenings, but you also sit, as you had kind of mentioned, on different boards. And I think you are very passionate about other causes. You're on the road speaking. You're doing all these things. So how does Mr. Eschenbaum unwind? Do you unwind?
It's a good question. Oh yeah, it's not like I don't have hobbies, and like I got buddies that like really into hunting or fishing or snow skiing or like something, and I don't have.
The
But
lake is your
I
refuge
I
too. I
love
mean,
being at the lake. I love
yeah.
hosting people at the lake, being on the lake. Been doing stuff with friends, right? Going to a football game or whatever. But um, yeah, need to get better about the unwind. Probably, I do have a friend group that we're going to the Dominican in February, so
Oh,
it'll be the
fun. I didn't know
first
that. That's
like
awesome. Good for
first
you.
vacation for more than 2 days in
Good for you.
years and years, probably. Yeah.
I'm kind of the same way. I think I immerse myself in things that I want to be, whether it's kids sports or whether it's again lake or other organizations that I'm a part of. For me, it's I think the unwind is I unwind through those things. It's not like I just love it. I love being on the sidelines and cheering. And also, especially if it's USD football, go Yotes. We'll throw that in
They're
there.
good. They're good.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a hard one. People ask me all the time, like, how does Addie unwind and what does it look like? And those are my unwind pieces. I don't have a lot of hobbies either. And I'm okay with that, And
Yeah.
yeah, I try to immerse myself in things that I'm passionate about, and just
100%.
is what it
And
is.
I
But
like when I don't, it's a balance, right? Because, I have a full-time job and doing the foundation stuff. But, do quite a few speaking events, and, a lot of those are for an hour, and those are physically draining. I am so tired after I speak, but
very emotional too.
they're so, I don't know, fulfilling to me. It's like therapy. Um, yeah, those, if anybody's been to those, I usually don't prepare a whole lot. It's pretty off the cuff. So it's pretty raw and unfiltered, but it's genuine, and it um yeah, feels like I'm speaking to myself, a lot of the time at those speeches. So
Can we
it's
talk
fun.
about USD football? I know you just said that they're good. Can I'm
Yeah,
glad
we
this is being
can.
recorded because I'm going to replay this
We
to Ryan
can.
Eichler and our next cattlemen's board meeting. Ty Eschenbaum said they're good.
They're good. They are
We
good.
honestly, so I was not at that game. My mother-in-law had passed away the day before, so we were not at that game, and we're supposed to be. But I remember sitting there with all of our family surrounding the TV and just watching it. And Shay, my mother-in-law, did not like football at all. But I remember just sitting there, just cheering so loudly, and I gave up towards the end, and then all of a sudden the pick six happened,
Yeah.
and I got back into it. But
Yeah, did you? It was a close
we
game.
aren't that bad. We're getting there.
No, you guys are really good. Like, your lines are good, your running backs are good.
Yeah.
Actually, Matt and Whitney Paulson,
Yeah.
that well, are friends with Bauman. So I've
Yeah.
gotten to meet
They're
Aiden
awesome.
a number of times. He's a hard guy to, not cheer for, right? He's just a great human
He's a
being.
solid
So
dude.
you guys need to knock off NDSU when they come
I
down
know.
there.
I know.
I would cheer. I
Oh,
think I could probably support USD in that game.
I just saw on one of our Yote pages yesterday that they're trying to buy tickets and trying to resell them or buy them and not, I don't know, just a whole bunch of stuff. Those fans, the other fans, and just very interesting. But yeah, the rivalry is real between both of our schools as well as up north.
Yeah, for sure.
I might have seats that are open, so I'll get you those tickets if I do. For
Yeah.
USD
Well, I don't know if I need to go there, but if I
We'll
flip on
see.
the TV and see that you guys beat
We'll see.
NDSU,
Oh my
I'll
gosh.
feel good about it.
Oh, well, we've got a gala coming up here in a couple weeks. Talk to us a little bit more about what that's looking like for you.
This is our third
Yeah.
annual Earn the Gift Gala. Obviously, you know that. You guys have
Keeps
been
getting
an
bigger
integral
and better
part,
every year.
yeah, since the beginning. So we had 600 people in December of 2022 come to Brookings, and we raised like 225,000 net. And then last year we had to move it to Sioux Falls to the convention center, and we were at 850 attendees and closer to a $250,000 number. And obviously our goal is to eclipse both of those amounts this year. So we're pushing hard. We only got 10 days left of ticket sales, so that's what we're going to be working on. But yeah, if anybody's never been,
It's awesome. And I think if you've never been, I think it's a fun culmination of these three pillars of the organization, but also you come into that room not knowing, I think, little bits and pieces of that. You may understand that you've got Make-A-Wish and you've got our cancer scholarships and you've got missionary work, but you really don't know until you're in there. And honestly, my favorite part of the year, and I'm not saying this because I'm your friend, but is truly your speech because it is off the cuff. I don't even know if you prepare it that day or what, but I know it's probably last minute for you. Like you're just a go. And it is incredible. But the impact in that room, there is not a dry eye, number one. But you also come out meeting new friends in that space, which I think is awesome. You're unifying these people that are surrounding these three different pillars, but we all have a different passion piece of it, right? So you're doing two things, not only fundraising, but you're raising dollars for the organizations, but then you're unifying these different groups together too. It's pretty powerful.
yeah, it's It's a pretty unique, I mean, in the world of galas and banquets and fundraisers, we feel like it is unique. Obviously, you guys do a tremendous amount of them. I've spoken at a number of them,
Yeah.
and we took the path of like, number one, we're going to pull out all the stops. We're going to have the red carpet walk and surprises and the champagne wall and photo booths and prime rib and and you can't dress too fancy, right? This is if you have a ball gown or whatever you can't wear anywhere else, you can wear it to the gala. But yeah, our pillars, you know, sometimes people like they kind of heard of us or saw us or get invited by somebody, and I think there's like, is this public? We don't really know, Ty. Just go. So we try to get the word out that it is public, and we've funded getting to be dozens and dozens of Make-A-Wish families and scholarship kids from across the state. So if we haven't funded a family in your community yet, I'm certain we will at some point, unfortunately. But we're trying to get more and more people to understand what we're up to. And you're right, we have a Make-A-Wish family that typically speaks. We have somebody from our mission, one of our missionary causes, and they're just unbelievable humans, unbelievable stories. And you're right, it's a roller coaster of emotions, right? Because we got tears, and then we have an immense amount of fun, right? That's what, hey, we're gonna have a blast. We're gonna do it in a good cause. We're gonna have an absolute blast. But you're right,
it's a celebration of all of these things, right? I think that's the fun part. It really is a celebration.
Yeah, and it is so fun to talk to people after the gala or the next day, and someone was just so attached to what the Spildies, right? The Cohen's family had to say. And then the next person, it was like, Bo's story of going to Europe and missionary work. And then everybody takes something a little bit different. But yeah, we hope, I said at the end of my speech last year, like, I hope we filled your cup. And I think we do. I think people leave there with a different perspective, especially leading into the holiday season, leading up to Christmas. They just leave there with a different view on life and
I agree.
gratitude. And, there's so much negativity in our world. You can just come. And when you say meet people, it's like there's 850 people that are fantastic human beings, South Dakotans, and a lot of them, you may know. But that was the other part when we started the gala. One of the things I mentioned is I've had a crazy wild life. I've gotten to travel and do things in business, and I know so many people that are so awesome that don't know each other. And like, I just love it when, some of my friend from, over here
crossover.
Is getting to meet somebody because they're the same type of human being. So anyway,
I had that same conversation with Eric Gaikowski from AARP. I don't know. Have you met Eric before?
I don't know that I have, but I forget a lot.
Last year was
too.
his first time at the gala, and he was a guest of somebody else. And he just exactly like what you said just a little bit ago, like, I've heard of the foundation, but was invited by somebody else. And that's the cool part. And that's the part that I love from the other side of it, right? From the planning side is we're walking around the room. It's hard to know all 650 people the first year. And then you pull in, you have more people, and it continues to grow and grow. You're not going to be able to talk to everybody. But the cool part is you notice the new bodies that are in the mix, which is so fun. And that, I think, is a testament to the organization, but it's a testament to the ambassadors of the mission, right? That are being able to then share the word about all that the foundation is doing, because then they're hearing about it and they're donating and they're getting involved. And there's a lot of sponsors that are a part of this. There's incredible volunteers that are a part of it as well. But we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you either, Ty. So kudos to you and your leadership with the organization as well.
Yeah, thanks.
It'll be good. It'll be good.
I'm so blessed. I make it known, like I think for all the challenges, I could be one of the most blessed people that you get to meet, because my life story has just been it's been a wild ride, and I wouldn't change most of it.
Any big things coming up for you or the foundation in these next few months?
Just trying to get through the gala, right? And we've getting to be involved with some of these, some of these Make-A-Wish kids and some of these families that are, the other part that I'm seeing in the future is there's these families and kids that are going through stuff that they want to give back. They want to use their story as a platform to help others. And we're in a position to coach and mentor and help and introduce. And so I'm
like help
trying
facilitate that.
Yeah. Just
That's awesome.
What does it look like,
Yeah.
And so I mean, that could look like a lot of things, but I think, I can take some of these kids or scholarship winners that want to speak. I mean, they come with me, right? Or we can get them connected to events that need a speaker, or some of them are having events, right? Their own events to raise money. And it's like, hey, we've been there, right? How can we help? What advice, coaching, structure, introductions, and we can multiply our footprint when we're helping other nonprofits and people.
It's becoming another community, really. You're helping to form another community.
100%.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and the Maddie Nelson Foundation is we got them to come to the gala. They've been doing great work for years, and they're like, hey, we want to do this, right? And so got you involved, and you guys are running with that event, and they're going to
be at the gala here soon in a couple weeks as well.
They're a big sponsor for us, and I'll keynote their inaugural banquet here, or the gala in February, and it's just like, hey, how can we help? Because they're trying to do the same stuff we are.
Yeah, and I love the connecting piece. I mean, you are a big connector, but what I like about what you just said, especially for the future of the foundation, is you bringing either the Make-A-Wish kids or the scholarship recipients, or even truly the missionary work, and having this other community also to help not just be an ambassador for the foundation, but be an ambassador for the causes, really.
Yeah. Well, they get stories to tell, right? Like the foundation is just built on my story, right? And me telling my story, but everybody's got a great story.
Well, earnthegiftgala.com. People can grab their tickets still available, and join us.
Absolutely.
I'll be in black. Ty will be in black, I would assume.
That's it. Classic.
No other. Yeah.
Classic black.
Well, before we wrap up, I've got this book of questions here. Ariana, our producer, has these random questions that I ask everybody. I have no clue what these next questions are. So they're always just kind of fun, off the wall.
Let's do it.
Ready? Let's do it. Oh, this is interesting. How do you organize the apps on your phone? And she wants you to show us. Are you going to be one of those people that have like 927,000 unread messages in your junk mail that you're going to see those notifications?
If you have people that are like super detail oriented and like tidy, they're probably going to get anxiety.
Okay, let's show each other our phones. Ready? We're going to do it. Okay. I want to see yours. This is going to be fun. Snap. Oh my gosh, what does that bottom number say for emails? Does that say 111,000? It does not. Yeah. It does not.
And the missed phone calls and text messages must stop at 99, because they're both at 99. So
Ty,
if you wonder where the limit is,
you need a detox. I don't know what you need. Okay, ready? Here's mine. All color coded.
That is exactly what I would expect.
Look,
just like clean,
organized.
Yeah.
All color coded to match the thematics of it.
Yeah. I'm the type. I'm the type that it's chaos, right? Our business is chaos. I'm involved with the family farm. We got foundation stuff. I do my personal investing and real estate stuff, and
but you get it done.
It could be, get it done. Could always be better. But I like something could be on fire, and like I can go to bed, sleep 8 hours, like just.
Oh my God.
I know it's going to be there tomorrow. Like when I feel like I've given my all for the day, And it's like, hey, I'm going to turn in and we'll try again tomorrow.
Do you know what? I am
And
envious of that, truly, because my part, Ariana knows this. Ariana is like you as well. She's got a lot of unreads in like Snapchats and text messages, but she still gets the job done day in and day out. And for me, I must go to bed with 0 emails in the inbox, no unread messages, no whatevers. But I am one of those people, though, that I will read a message on my watch or read the message on my phone. And I think like mentally I responded to you, but then I didn't respond to you for 4 days. So that's the bad part. So maybe I should unread some of them. Maybe. I don't know.
yeah, people know that I'm not a great, they can send me a text and get absolutely nothing back or miss phone call. And I'm sorry, but
I love it.
yeah, but that's that's a classic me.
Well, I love it. Well, thanks for joining me, Ty. I'm excited for the gala here next month. Kudos again to you, all your team, the board, all the sponsors for what they're doing throughout the year. It's pretty remarkable, and I'm excited to see what comes.
Yeah, well, thank you. A big part of where we're at is because of you and your team, and that's one of the best decisions we made with that initial gala is to get the professionals involved right away. And can't thank you enough. So we're excited for the 7th, and it's going to be awesome.
Well, thanks again for joining us. For those that are tuning in, be sure to check back every other Thursday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube, and join us then for the next episode of Uncorked and Unscripted. Talk to you soon, Ty. Thanks for listening to this episode of Uncorked and Unscripted. Make sure to follow and rate this podcast wherever you're watching or listening. Stay connected with us by following us on social media at Uncorked Unscripted on Instagram and Facebook, and at Uncork Unscript on Twitter and TikTok. And if you really enjoyed this episode, do us a huge favor and send it to a friend. See you soon. Bye.